Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Come on in here. Sit down with me, get yourself something hot or cold to drink, and open your Bible up here at the table, and we'll just begin a little Bible study, 5 minutes a day. 5 days a week, studying the Psalms verse by verse. That's what we do right here on Daily Dose Radio. Well, today we're going to look at verse 2 in Psalm 126. So if you have your Bible there, open up to Psalm 126. Yesterday, we began this psalm. Again, this is one of the ascent psalms. So we're traveling up to the city of Jerusalem, and we're singing this psalm. This is the 7th step. We're singing this psalm when the Lord returns the restoration of Zion, when he restores or turns again the captivity of Zion. That's the way the King James has it. We were like them that dream. And I made a reference yesterday to the apostles and to the resurrection, because that's one of those instances when we see this psalm really come to life. The apostles were like those who dream when Jesus was raised from the dead. And so I think that this entire psalm really is kind of a picture of the church. The picture of the church in the past and the picture of the church in the present. So I'm going to try to pursue that as we continue to study Psalm 126. This is a psalm of hope because the Lord's doing a work. You notice here in verse 1, the Lord does the returning. He turns again. And then in verse 2, the Lord causes great things. We're going to talk about that today. Verse 3, the Lord again causes great things. And then in verse 4, we have the prayer, the Lord, O Lord, return our captivity. Or turn again our captivity. So this is a beautiful psalm. And as I said, I think it relates to the church, beginning with the apostles there in verse 1. And then in verse 2, let me read verse 2 for you. Then was our mouth filled with laughter, and our tongue with singing. Then said they among the heathen, the Lord hath done great things for them. Okay, so here we have the mouth being filled with singing. So Jesus told the apostles in John chapter 16, he said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. And ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow will be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, has sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembers no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man takes from you. That's John 16, 20 through 22. Then our mouth will be filled with laughter, he says there in the psalm. And I think this is just like the apostles as they rejoiced at the resurrection of Christ, and they got time to fellowship with him after the resurrection. Their mouth was filled with laughter, and their tongues were full of joy. And then you notice there in verse 2, it says, Then they will say among the nations, or that's my translation. The King James has, Then they said among the heathen, the Lord hath done great things for them. Well, Acts chapter 2 verses 9 through 11 tell us about the people that came to Jerusalem, and they heard in their own tongues the wonderful works of God, and they marveled at that. And so I think this refers to that time in Acts 2 when the nations were gathered there in Jerusalem on the day of Pentecost, and they heard about the wonderful works of God, and all they could say was what the psalmist says here, well, the Lord has done great things for them. And certainly he has. And so, friends, for us, he's done great things as well, hasn't he? Great things. Yes, and the world will report one day all the great things that he has done for you. All right, well, join me again tomorrow. We're going to look at verse 3 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, Check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.